Hi everyone, this is Amanda and Amanda's Booktopia. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, welcome back. And today we are deciding my November TBR for the year 2024. I wasn't exactly going to recap all of October. That was a lot of books, and I read some of them. Some of them I haven't gotten to yet. As the day I'm filming this, today is the 26th of October. So I still have a few days where I might do some reading still. I'm in the middle of a book right now that I have not finished yet, and I might get through maybe one or two more before the month is up. So I'm not going to give you a definitive of how I did, but I will tell you that I did the best that I could. I made it through some of them, just others I have not gotten to yet. However, ones I don't end up getting to in October will roll over into November and possibly December. So I want to be able to get to all the books that people recommended me before the year is up. And November is going to be very, very massive and chaotic because I decided I'm going to join Historathon for the first time this year, which is run by Gloria Z. Thompson. She has two other hosts with her. I think one of them's name is Lena. The other one, is it Lauren? I want to say it's another L name. Lindsay, I think it is, actually. I think it's Lindsay. I will link all their channels down below if you want to check out their announcement video for Historathon. There's some prompts. You don't have to read all the prompts. I'm attempting to do all the prompts, but I could tell you right now, I might not get to all of them. But I'm going to do the best that I can. They do have one book that's a group book that I want to try and get to as well. And I also have other book club books I also want to get to. The Frozen Chills pick, the Swoony Readers pick, and my own book club, of course. That's a necessity. And, well, it's going to be a busy month. Let's put it that way. I took out my cards so we can have some fun with it. And I'm going to try to fit all my required reads into these cards, if at all possible. And whatever is left that I haven't gotten to in the cards, I will just add on as extra. So I won't be able to tell you what's going to be extra for my October TBR because the month's not being up yet. But maybe there'll be a vlog or two in November so I could tell you how I'm doing with that, or I'll just let you know in November if I manage to get to all of them in November. If not, some will definitely be in December. And we're going to ask Siri how many books we're going to be choosing again. This time, I promise you, I'm not doing 1 through 20. 20 was way too much. We're going to do between 1 through 15. I don't know how many I did in October. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's got to be somewhere in there, in that frame. So, hey Siri, pick a number between 1 through 15.
A random number between 1 and 15 is 6.
Okay, that's not too bad. For those that didn't hear Siri, it said 6. So we're only picking 6 cards, which is a relief. Because this TBR is massive. Let me tell you. So I already shuffled my cards, and they're ready to go. We're about to find out what the first card's going to be. Okay, so we have a prompt of multiple POVs. I think I found one. Okay. This is great because my sister, Sydney, she is joining her first book club, and I'm very proud of her. And she wanted me to read this book because her book club's reading it. And they're meeting like towards the end of November to discuss the book, and she really wants me to read it. So I could tell her about the book a little bit because she's a very slow reader and it's going to take her time to get through. And so because she wanted me to read it, I said, why not? So they already have the book. So that book is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. This has 2 POVs in it. One is the main character, Sydney, and the other one is Tom. I just glanced through it real quickly and I saw 2 names. So I'm like, that works for multiple POVs. So we're going to do that. That was book number 1. All right, let's fish for book number 2. So we have, oh no, it has a playlist. I don't know of any books that I have I plan to read that has a playlist. I really don't think there is. I know there's some like romance and dark romance and like TikTok books that probably have this. But I don't think I have anything that I plan on reading that has a playlist. So what I'm going to do is not use this card right now. It may be cheating a little bit, but this TBR is massive and none of them have playlists. And I'm just not ready. So we're going to save this for another month. We're going to try for book number 2 one more time. Ooh, this is great. I have a U pick. So this is basically like a free pick for me, which is awesome. So, I think I know what I want to do for this. I think I'm going to add on my own book club book, which is Heart of Night and Fire by Nisha J. Tooley. I will show you what the cover looks like in the corner. It is for the Fiction Falls book club. We are reading that book, and I have read other books from this author that I've really, really enjoyed. In fact, she's finishing a series in November as well. So I figured it'd be the perfect time to read another book of hers. That's an older series. So I'm going to use my U pick for Heart of Night and Fire. Because I don't know if I'll fit it into anything else. So that's what we're doing for that. So that works out perfect. Now we're going to do for book number 3. We'll go with this card. Okay, hooked you from the first line. I only have 2 physical books here besides the one I already showed you. So the rest are all going to be audio. So let's check and see the first lines of these books. So this first one says, back in 1961, when women wore shirtwaist dresses and joined garden clubs and drove legions of children around and seatbeltless cars without giving a second thought, back before anyone knew there would even be a 60s movement, much less one that its participants would spend the next 60 years chronically. Back when the big wars were over, the secret wars had just begun, and people were starting to think fresh and believe everything was possible. The 30-year-old mother of Madeline Zott rose before dawn every morning and felt certain of just one thing: her life was over. That's a really long one sentence. Sounds kind of interesting, but I don't know if it really hooks me from the first line. Let's try my other one. Let's see what this one says. If the bread hadn't burned, this would be a very different story. Ooh. Okay, we'll do this one. So we're going to do The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I am using this for Historathon. So this is perfect. So that will be book number 3. Hooked from the first line. So I'm already hooked from that first line. And I've read other books from Leigh Bardugo and have really enjoyed them. There's only a couple more I haven't read yet from the Shadow, like one of her duologies that I still need to read. But besides those, I've read others and that I've really enjoyed. And this is completely separate from that world. So I'm excited to read another book from this author. So that will be book number 3. All right. Now we're going to choose book number 4. Try and find another card. We'll go with this card. A standalone. Ooh, this is perfect. Because this book I have right here is a standalone. Great. So we're going to use Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis as a standalone. So I'm also reading this for Historathon. So this works perfect. That's the perfect standalone right there. 4. So 2 more cards. We're going to go with this. A house is a character, setting, or important part of the book. So something where there's a house involved in the book. Actually, I think I know what could work for this. because The Briar Club by Kate Quinn is a group book for Historathon. And I think it's about a clubhouse. I'm pretty sure. Let me look that up and make sure, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, everyone keeps themselves at Briarwood House, which is a down at the heels all-female boarding house. So I'm going to use The Briar Club by Kate Quinn for this prompt for the house. So we're going to do that. And now, you only need to pick up one more card. Okay, we have royalty. So I think there's one book from my October TBR I could view this for. So I might move this book into November. And that is Long Live Evil by Sarah Reese Brennan. And it says in the description, she wakes in a castle on the edge of a hellish chasm. And it's in a kingdom on the brink of war. So I assume with the words castle and kingdom, there's some kind of royalty in that castle. So I'm going to run with that. It's maybe stretching a little, but I'm guessing there's some kind of royalty with it being a kingdom. So we're going to go with that. The room will be Long Live Evil into November. So that is my 6 books. So to recap what we've got so far, we have The Boyfriend for multiple POEs. For a U pick, we have Heart of Night and Fire by Nisha J. Tooley. And then for the prompt of Hook You from the First Line, we have The Familiar by Lee Bardugo. And then for a standalone, we have Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Varmus. And then for a house, is a character setting an important part of a book. We're using The Briar Club by Kate Quinn. And for royalty, we are using Long Live Evil by Sarah Reese Brennan. So that's the 6 books that are going to definitely be in my November TBR for sure. And then we also have some more books that we haven't gotten to yet. So let me tell you a little bit about those. We have a few book club books. First, we have the Sweeney Readers romance pick that I was able to find on Kukla, which is Falling in Love by Erin Branscombe. I don't know anything really about it except that it's romance. So I'm going to go in pretty blind on that one. And then for Thrills and Chills book club, we have The Quarry Girls by Jess Lowry. I don't know really anything about this one either, except that it's a thriller. But I'm hoping it's going to be a good thriller. I need some more good books because past couple of months I haven't had very many books that are like 4 or 5 stars. I need more 5 stars. I don't have very many. I need to get back to that. So those are my book club books. And then for Historathon, let me talk about Historathon. I have books that I'm planning on reading for that. We've already gotten The Briar Club and The Familiar and Lessons in Chemistry down from my main TBR. The Briar Club is the group book that we're going to be discussing in December 4th, 8 p.m. EST on Lindsay's channel. I'll link her down below. And then the first prompt is Historical Era Exploration. Choose a book set in a historical era you're unfamiliar with. So I'm going for that prompt, The Familiar by Lee Bardugo. I know it's set in Spain, and I think it's like in the 1500s, and I don't know much about the 1500s. So I'm using that to do historical era exploration. And then the next one, we're doing famous historical figures, which is read a book featuring a famous historical figure, whether they are the protagonist or a significant character in the story. So I'm attempting a Stephen King novel for this one. So we're going with 11/22/63. And I will be doubling up with another prompt on this because it's a chunky book. The audiobook is almost 31 hours. Almost. It's a minute less than 31 hours. So that's going to take up a lot of time. So I will be pecking away trying to get through 11/22/63. And I've never read a book by him, but I've watched some of the movies based off of some of his books. This will be my first Stephen King book. This should be interesting. I believe that one is about Abraham Lincoln, so I think that's why that'd be perfect for famous historical figures. And then the next prompt is historical romance. Pick a historical fiction novel with a strong romantic subplot. So for this, I'm going with This Ravenous Fate by Haley Denning, I think is the name. Yes, it's Haley Dennings is the author. And it's, from my understanding, it takes place in the 1920s. It's in 1926. And it's about vampires. And there's a romance with the two female main characters. So that works perfect for a historical romance. And then the next prompt is social issues or cultural perspectives, which is choose a book that provides insight into a culture or a region different from your own. And this took some time for me to figure out when I was still looking into books, so what to read for this one. Because there was a few I was interested in, but I had this audiobook, so I thought maybe we'll give it a shot. And this is called Eternal by Lisa Scatterline. And these three characters, Elisabetta, Marco, and Sandro, grow up as best of friends in pre-war Rome. So that takes place in a totally different, country and from my own, and a completely different region and a different culture. So I figured that'd be perfect for that. And they're like basically the best of friends. And they're growing up during before the war starts in Rome. I think this is around World War I or II. I can't remember exactly which one. It might be World War I. But it sounded interesting, so I'm going to give that one a shot. And then the next prompt is historical mysteries. Read a historical mystery or a thriller. So for this one, I decided to go with Homecoming by Kate Morton. This is historical. It takes place in 1959. And there's a mystery. The police are called, and then because of this terrible discovery, it's a part of the most baffling murder investigations in the history of South Australia. And then many years later, thousands of miles away, this journalist is in search of a story, and she ends up finding out about this house where everything went down. And so she goes to discover what the heck is going on at this house. Her beloved grandmother raised her, and her mother could not, and she's in the hospital. So Jess goes back to her house because her grandmother's house is basically where everything happened. And while the main character is there, the journalist, she discovers a true crime book chronicling a Longberry police case, the Turner family tragedy of 1959, and she finds a shocking connection between her own family and this notorious event. And it's never been satisfactorily resolved. So it sounds really interesting, and I've been wanting to read this for ages. It's been on my Amazon wish list for a really long time, and I've been wanting to check this out. So I think this works out perfect for historical mystery. And then the next prompt is War and Conflict. Select a novel set during a major historical conflict such as World War I, II, or the American Civil War. So I decided to go with Beneath the Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan. I already started this, technically. I've only read the first chapter and a little bit of the second, but I haven't really gone very far into it. So I want to go back to it and finish that out for that prompt. So that takes place during World War II, I believe. And I know my besties Dana and Nikki both read it and loved it. They both gave it 5 stars, I believe. So I'm very excited to give this one a go. And then the next prompt is historical fiction with a strong sense of place, which means choose a book where the setting is a crucial part of the story, with vivid descriptions and historical accuracy that immerse you in the time and place. So for this one, I decided to go with The Night Travelers by Armando Lucas Coria. It takes place in Berlin in 1931, and then it also goes several years later into 1958. And this girl, the main girl, is in 1950. A lot of stuff happens in Berlin in 1931, and then in 1958, this woman, she ends up. I don't know much about this. I guess I'll just put it that way. I don't really know much. But it goes back between Berlin in 1931 and 1958 and then 1988. So I'm guessing there's some kind of generational stuff going on in this one. And the reason why I picked this one for the prompt of where the setting is a crucial part of the story, in each generation, they end up having to go back to Berlin in some way. So Berlin is a big part of the story. So I figured this would be perfect for that prompt. And then the next prompt is historical nonfiction hybrid, which is find a novel that is based on true events or incorporates real historical documents into the narrative, blending fact with fiction. So I'm doubling up on this one, along with the historical figure prompt. So historical nonfiction hybrid will also be 11/22/63 because that's a chunker, and there's no way I could do more than one book for Historathon for 2 separate prompts. So I might as well just double up and use it for both prompts. Just makes it easier for me. And then the last prompt is historical fiction adaptation. This is read a book that has been adapted into a film or a television series. So for that is the reason why I am going to be using Lessons in Chemistry for this prompt, because this is historical fiction. It takes place in the 1950s, and there's a show on Apple TV+. So this would be perfect for that prompt. And I've been wanting to read this, so I'm very excited to throw this into the TBR for Historathon. Somehow, someway, we managed to get all these books in. Don't know if I'll get to every single one of them, but the book club books are a must read. Everything else, we will see. And I do want to get to the Briar Club, which is a group book. So we have a pretty big TBR here. We have 6 books in the main TBR, and then we have Historathon. So it's going to be a busy November. I have a lot of books, and not as many days in the month as I like there to be. So we're going to attempt to get through all these books. Don't know how we're going to do it, but I'm going to try my darndest. And the book club books will be first before anything else, because those are important. And that is everything I have for this November TBR. I hope you enjoyed it. And amidst all the craziness, if you did, give me a huge thumbs up. If you want to see more bookish content, make sure you smash the subscribe button down below. And I'll see you on the next one.